Normally I come in here all excited. I got a confession I need to make. I need to come clean. My great grandmother, Grandma Bandandola, she came to this country from the Campania region of Italy. My great grandfather, who we call Chicken Joe, he's from Italy as well. My great great grandfather immigrated from Italy to Brooklyn, which is why I'm wearing this hat in honor of my family that landed in Brooklyn. Although I grew up in outside Boston in Revere, Mass. That's where my family was situated. Italians, true Italians, will tell you that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. And the other day, I made a pizza with pineapple on it. I'm not happy about it, but the things we do for love. I made a sort of a Hawaiian pizza. A local restaurant calls it Aloha Pizza because this particular pizza had bacon on it. And then someone in a pizza group suggested that if you're going to make a Hawaiian pizza, you might as well add the bacon and the jalapenos. Jalapenos. So you'll see there is a quadrant with jalapenos, and that's what I had. I figured I would try it. My wife wanted a Hawaiian pizza. I made her an Aloha pizza with the bacon, and then my little section, I added jalapenos. The dough I used, it doesn't look good here. I used oil on the board to stretch it out. I probably should have used flour. Uh, my wife and I were at church, and we were coming home a little bit later than usual. We were talking with a missionary after services, and then it takes my pizza steel about an hour to heat up. So I wanted to be able to get a pizza done quicker. So I figured I'd throw this in a pan and throw this in a toaster convection oven, while my pizza steel was heating up, and so we could have a pizza a lot quicker. So anyway, this is a 60% hydration dough, 20 ounces of flour, and 10 ounces was like an all trumps like flour, where it's bromated and it's bleached and it's enriched a little bit. And so, but that particular brand was Primo Gusto that I got at Google. Google. I do search engine optimization, so I'm dealing with Google all the time. Gordon Food Service. Gordon Food Service. I got their Primo Gusto brand flour. I'm trying it out. Not as good as Trump's and not as good as Bouncer, but not bad. Not bad at all. But I like Bouncer better than a little bit better than all Trumps. The first time I tried all Trumps, it was my favorite. So so anyway, I used 10 ounces of that, and then I used 10 ounces of oxidant flour. It's an all-purpose flour made by Ardent Mills, and I'm told that it has a higher protein content than most all-purpose flours. It's in the range of 11.9 to 12.5% protein. So that's basically your gluten content. The All Trumps flour is like 14.2%. So I imagine Bouncer and Primo Gusto are kind of in that neighborhood as well. So I used half Primo Gusto, half oxidant, and let's see. So if I do 12 ounces of water, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I used kosher salt, 1.5 teaspoons of instant dry yeast. Mixed it all together. Let it rise on the counter for about 2 hours. Did a bulk fermentation. Divided it in two, and then I put them in plastic containers, sprayed nonstick spray, balled the dough, and let it sit in the fridge for like 2 or 3 days. I forget how. I think it was in there 2 days, and I took it out when we left for church and just left it on the counter till we got home. So it was on the counter for probably about 4 or 5 hours. So anyway, if you look at the ham, we had some ham left over from Easter on the ham bone that's just been sitting in the freezer. We don't do ham and beans, and we might make some kind of ham potato soup. But so it was a spiral cut ham, bacon, uh, pineapple chunks. I got the chunks and I chopped them up a little bit, but as my buddy Dan said, they're still large chunks. And I think next time I would use fresh jalapenos instead of the pickled ones that I get in a jar. So that was it. And I wish I would have used flour to stretch the dough instead of oil on the counter. I just didn't like the way it worked. I was dealing with holes in the flour, and it ended up being a rather puffy kind of dough. You'll see it there. We got an air bubble there on the bottom at like 6 o'clock to push the pineapple towards the middle, and you see my little jalapeno section up at the top, and then like 12 to 2 o'clock up, hanging up out there. So my wife said it was okay. She wanted to try it. You know, if I never make a Hawaiian pizza again, it would be too long. Something I want to show you. So this was it, and it was okay. I wouldn't do it again. I love New York style pizza. Cheese pizza is my favorite. So I told you I had the pizza steel heating up. So when it came time to make my dough, my pizza, I put the dough and I put flour on the counter, and I used flour on the counter, floured both sides, stretched it, and this dough stretched beautifully. It was no problem stretching it out. It was like a 16-ounce dough. Had no problem stretching it out to put on a 16-inch screen that I then threw into the oven. And when I make these 16-inch pies, I always put on a screen because I think it's just easier to manage it in the oven. And then I let it cook for like a couple minutes, take it off the screen, and it finishes on the steel. And so I'm cooking at 550 degrees. But here is how this pizza ended up. And you'll see I rated my pizza a 9.1. You know, just to let you know, let you know, like I I don't pull any punches with my pizzas. You know, I made a stuffed crust pizza the other day, or I shot video. It was like a 2-day process, and I rated it. I tasted it, and I gave it a 7.2. Right, wasn't my favorite, and I was sitting there thinking, boy, you're not going to get people excited to try these pizzas if you're going to give it a 7.2 point rating. Well, here's the deal. My wife likes thick pizzas, you know. She liked the stuffed crust. She gave it an 8.1. I gave it a 7.2. She liked it more, but like I'm just honest. I'm not going to hype something. I'm going to try all different kinds of pizzas, like I did with the Aloha pizza, and then added jalapeno. I'm going to try that kind of stuff. Doesn't mean I'm going to like it. But you know what? There are people who do, and they might just absolutely love it. But anyway, this was best, one of the best pizzas I have ever made. I used a blend of shredded mozzarella and provolone. I hand shredded it. I got a block of cheese at my favorite bulk food store, and it's not a paid endorsement. But East Union Bulk Food Store in East Union Township in Wayne County, Ohio. So I hand shredded some cheese, and So here's something interesting. So I use a product from Aldi, their Happy Harvest crushed tomatoes, right? And serious pizza makers, they tell you got to use San Marzano. They're grown in a specific region in Italy, in a region where Mount Vesuvius is, and the volcanic ash in the soil produces a sweeter, tomato. I'm going to tell you, San Marzanos are really good tomatoes, right? And you always got to be careful. San Marzano tomatoes will have the initials DOP for designated place of origin if they're authentic. If you see San Marzano style tomatoes, they're not authentic. Doesn't mean they're not good, it just means they're not authentic. And you need San Marzanos for authentic Neapolitan pizza. But having said all that, I love using Aldi Happy Harvest crushed tomatoes for my quote unquote sauce. I say that because I don't cook my sauce. I just spoon out the tomatoes right onto the pizza, spread it around, heat it with a little salt, a little oregano. My mom doesn't like oregano on her. I don't know why she doesn't. Oregano just sets pizza apart. I mean, that just takes it to another level. You got to use oregano. So I put a little salt and sprinkle a little oregano on there with the cheese. Hit it in the oven. What is it, 7 minutes, maybe 8 minutes? And let me tell you, that pizza right there, one of the best I've ever made. I gave it a 9.1. My favorite pizza is Pizzeria Regina, 9.4. My second favorite is Frank Pepe Pizzeria Napolitana, New Haven. Oh, Pizzeria Regina is in the north end of Boston, 11.5 Thatcher Street. The original location is better than the one in Faneuil Hall and better than the one in Pocari's restaurant. The Pocari family bought Pizzeria Regina, then this restaurant group bought Pocari's. So this restaurant group owns Pocari's and Pizzeria Regina. Love it. I don't care where you get it. The pizza's good, but when you go to 11.5 Thatcher Street on the north end, the Italian section of Boston, oh my, chef's kiss. It's wonderful. Wonderful. But anyway, this pizza was really good. And I'm completely honest. I know when something's good and I know when it's not. This was good. All right, so if you look at this thing, right, it looks like it's this big puffy crust. It is not. That bad boy is thin. It's crispy. There was a little bit of flop. But man, that pizza was spectacular. I couldn't rate it higher than the Pizzeria Regina or Frank Pepe's. Man, this was like up there. This was like in the neighborhood. Absolutely in the neighborhood. Maybe the next block, maybe the next street, I don't know, but it was close. Why I really liked it, I grew up eating Bianchi's Pizza in Revere, Massachusetts. I love Bianchi's. It'd probably be my third favorite, or maybe my fourth after that one pizza right there, right? Love Bianchi's. And it's just the kind of style of pizza that I grew up with. And those Happy Harvest crushed tomatoes get me close. And I think it's just like every time I'm biting into it, it's like taking a bite out of my childhood or something like that, or going back, being transported. And so I absolutely love it. And this pizza is made with the same dough, except I hand stretched it much thinner instead of just letting it sit in the pan and push it around. But anyway, that was my confession that I made. I made pineapple pizza. Don't hold it against me. I asked my buddy Freddie, who was a baker at Valley Steakhouse, and he taught me. He was training me just so I would know how to make rolls and bread and stuff like that. And I'd go back there and watch him help. And like when he would make the dinner rolls, he'd get them and just like with two hands shape. So he'd roll it, and then he'd say, okay, now you got to push it forward and tuck it. And I could never do that. And so if you see some of my videos when I'm working with rolls, I try to do the two-handed and tuck. Uh, I'm better off just using one hand, the right hand, and but I try. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. I know it's not like a big fancy, uh, I don't have a two-camera shoot, or sometimes even a three-camera shoot in my little tiny kitchen. But anyway, I wanted to share with you that I made Hawaiian pizza. Well, but I told Freddie, I said, don't take away my Italian card. He and I are paisans, been friends for decades, and so he's a great encourager. Even though he was Buster back in the day, right, Freddie? Reed will tell you. But anyway, that's it. As my grandma Bandandola always says, Mudja Bobby Mudja Ciao. Thanks so much for watching.